Also this week, Elon Musk faces his first political litmus test since becoming a polarizing Trump White House figure. Last night, the world's richest man rallied for the Republican candidate in Wisconsin's state Supreme Court race. Musk's high-profile activity there helping this become the most expensive state Supreme Court campaign in U.S. history. And yes, he was wearing a cheese head. Now, as part of all of that money being spent there, he paid two voters $1 million each in a controversial raffle that Wisconsin's attorney general tried to fight in court. NBC News correspondent Julia Jester was there. She joins us now from Madison, Wisconsin. And here in New York, Republican strategist and MSNBC political analyst Susan Del Percio and Democratic strategist and Salty Politics author Julie Roginski. Let's go first to Julia there in Wisconsin. So what was Elon Musk's pitch to voters last night, Julia?
Well, Anna, I think by now we're used to state and local elections becoming nationalized, but last night may have been one of the first times that I have heard someone say that a state election could determine the, quote, future of the world. Elon Musk really raising the stakes last night, while the Supreme Court election here could definitely handle matters like abortion or immigration cases in this state. He honed in on one specific aspect, and that's redistricting, and that could affect the balance of power in Congress as well. He really leaned into that in his remarks last night. Here's what he had to say.
If the Supreme Court is able to redraw the districts, they will gerrymander the districts and deprive Wisconsin of 2 House seats on the Republican side. What's happening on Tuesday is a vote for which party controls the U.S. House of Representatives. That is why it is so significant. And whichever party controls the House, it to a significant degree controls the country, which then steers the course of Western civilization.
So quite the implications there, Anna. And he also made the case that if voters like what Doge is doing, if they like the government spending cuts, which the crowd there really supportive of Elon did support the Doge measures, he said that this race is consequential for that. It's worth noting among registered voters in Wisconsin, though, a majority of them view Elon Musk unfavorably. So we'll see whether his involvement in this race tomorrow will help or hurt the conservative candidate's cause, Anna.
And that very same state Supreme Court at the heart of this race decided not to weigh in on Musk's $1 million voter raffle. But what are voters there saying about all of this?
Well, there were hundreds that lined up to see Elon Musk, and there were hundreds that lined up to protest the billionaire's event last night. And we spoke with some voters, and for them, this is just another example on the Democratic side of saying he's attempting to buy yet another election. And on the Republican side, voters said all is fair in love and war. This is how the game is played now, and they were unbothered by it. But here's a snapshot of the voter sentiment here in Wisconsin that we heard.
Do you feel like Musk's $1 million giveaway is bribing an election?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I think everybody here would say that's not why we're here. I mean, it's at least very transparent.
He's trying to buy the election. He's trying to pay people to vote.
He's the richest man in the world. He's got endless amounts of money. Who else is he going to try and buy next?
Elon Musk has spent $3 million of his own money in addition to over $12 million from his America PAC. And on the Democratic side, there are also billionaire donors like Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and George Soros. The difference is, though, is that to our knowledge, we haven't seen any of those offering $1 million giveaways. But Elon Musk is not afraid to spend his time, his posts on X, or his money in this race, even creating a door-knocking program that offers financial incentives to canvassers to turn out the vote here in tomorrow's race, Anna.
All right, Julia Jester, thank you so much for reporting there in Madison, Wisconsin for us. Susan, a lot of that event with Elon Musk was actually more about his views, his actions, about Doge, less about the candidate he was there to support. Given all the backlash we've seen against Doge and all these federal cuts, what do you make of that strategy?
Well, it's certainly all about Elon Musk, and no one's happier than Donald Trump. Because if the Republican wins, it's a nonpartisan race. But if the Republican likely candidate wins, then Trump will take a victory lap and say, yeah, Elon Musk is my guy. Look what happened. If the person loses, then guess what? He says it was the Elon Musk fault. So it works out really well. But, you know, it's so interesting when we look at this race. It's important to keep in mind 2 years ago, it was the most important state Supreme Court race in the country. It was deemed the same way. It broke records at $50 million in spending.
That was in the wake of the Dobbs ruling.
And that was in the wake of Dobbs, exactly. And what was on stake was reproductive rights. The Democrat won by 11 points. We used it as a way of judging the Biden presidency and what 2024 will look like. So that didn't exactly go the way, 2024 didn't follow 2023. So we have to be careful just how much we read into these elections.
Well, and Julie, Elon Musk and his super PAC are also putting quite a bit of money behind a couple of races in Florida for special election House seats. These should be safe Republican-held seats. Yet it appears to be a little more competitive than Republicans initially expected. Do you see these early races as sort of a national referendum on party enthusiasm for both parties?
I do to some extent, but let's be realistic. First and foremost, Elon Musk is talking about this being a race about gerrymandering in Wisconsin. It is that, but for Elon Musk, it's about how he's able to sell Teslas in Wisconsin. He's got a very specific personal vested interest in the outcome of this race. So anybody from Wisconsin who's watching who might consider that this is about some larger issue for him, it is about his bottom line with Tesla. Second, about a week and a half ago, or almost 2 weeks ago now, in Pennsylvania, there was a special election for a state Senate seat, a seat that had been held by Republicans for generations. Part of it is in Lancaster County that has not elected a Democrat since the 19th century. And a Democrat eked out that special election win. In the wake of that is when Donald Trump decided to pull Elise Stefanik's nomination to the UN and send her back to New York 21, because by his own admission, he was very worried about how that election was going to go. Based on all of that, I don't necessarily expect those two seats in Florida to go Democrat because they're very, very, very red districts. But if there is a shift, a significant shift in turnout for Democrats and enthusiasm for Democrats, if Democrats come closer or even pick one of those up, most likely Florida 6, Mike Wallace's seat, that would be seismic. That would be seismic because, first of all, it would really shrink the majority for the Republicans in the House. But more importantly, it would also send a signal that Democrats are, not just Democrats, but also a lot of Republicans are just not thrilled with the way this administration is conducting business.
And a lot of that has to do with Elon Musk. Yep. I mean, we just showed the poll in Wisconsin. He's largely unpopular with American voters, and not just in Wisconsin. We've seen other polling recently, too, that shows he's underwater, negative versus positive favorability there. So what do you make of the fact, Susan, that it is Musk, not Trump, who's sort of the bullhorn, using the bullhorn to try to juice the vote on these races?
Well, what's interesting about Musk and his endorsement when it comes to Florida and looking at future House races is that it's viewed that Musk's might is really with primaries, in Republican primaries, and backing candidates, not so much in these special elections, although the money doesn't hurt. And like I said, Donald Trump must have seen some numbers that maybe made him feel a little uncomfortable putting himself out there because we know he doesn't want to look like a loser. But, in Florida, again, it could happen, yes. The Democrats can pull out maybe one of those seats. But Elon Musk is really, I think, and I watch him, and I've seen so many candidates over 35 years, and I'm not saying he's a candidate, but he loves the political spotlight.
Oh, I mean, look at him there with that cheese
I don't
head
think
on.
it's just about getting people elected that he cares about. I think this is so ego-driven, and he loves being that person. He loves being talked about in this ways. And yes, may it help him sell some cars? Absolutely. But more importantly, this is an ego-driven event, no doubt, for Elon Musk.
Julie, at the top of the hour, we played those comments from President Trump, once again floating this idea of running for a third term, even though it is clearly banned in the Constitution. What do you make of it?
Well, let's be very clear. The constitutional amendment was passed in the wake of Franklin Roosevelt running for 4 terms, right? And so there's no ambiguity about what this means. There's no ambiguity about, well, if you only had, Harry Truman put in as president, and then eventually Harry Truman resigns if Roosevelt had stayed alive, and we would have had Roosevelt run for a 5th. I mean, or I guess it was passed in the 50s, so it would have been Eisenhower. But regardless, it was truly designed to prevent somebody running for more than 2 terms. And whatever loopholes they're looking for, I hope even this Supreme Court, looking at history, understands the intent behind that amendment, which is no way, no how can you serve more than 2 terms as president. I'm not so confident that the Supreme Court would allow that to happen because they have bent the rules for this president before.
But can you imagine the can of worms that would open? I mean, what's to stop another 2-term president, like former President Obama, from getting in and running against
Michelle Obama will probably stop Barack Obama in that scenario. But under normal circumstances, I mean, is there any end to this? This is how authoritarianism begins. And his hero, Vladimir Putin, pulled exactly this stunt when the Constitution of Russia prevented him from running for a 3rd consecutive term. He had his prime minister run for president, and he decided to be prime minister, and then they did the switcheroo.